What's up, boss? You believe that? Hold on. Do you believe that? Doubt y'all and they ain't gonna be personal. You think I'm gonna let them they say y'all and they ain't gonna get personal.
Hey, what's going on, Buff Nation? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. That's right, giggity. The music's back. I only roll it out for some special occasions, only when I'm super, super happy, okay? I'm pumped. One, didn't get any stupid Colorado April Fool stuff on my timeline today. Shout out to everybody for not doing any of that April Fool's bull jump, man. Absolutely love it. We got some good stuff to celebrate. No doubt about it. How are you guys feeling? We got Warren Sapp here. We got George Hegamin here now. That's wonderful. We got some new news about guys coming for some unofficial visits. So that's wonderful. We got the spring game announced. Now, I did think this was a April Fool's prank, but it is what it is. Tremaine, Shirley, what's going on? We got Eddie, 92. And what's up from South Africa? It's 1 a.m. on this side, but I had to shoot the show before bed. Thank you. Means a lot. And let's go ahead and just get into it. Really appreciate the love. Y'all be sure to smash that like. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and let's get this show going for Eddie, right? So, few things that I want to talk about before I get to some of your comments. First off, George Hegamin, former director of football at the IMG Academy, obviously, in my opinion, played a huge role in getting Jordan Seaton here, as well as recommending Coach Phil. All my guys know their assignments. Loadholt here to coach the offensive line. This is a big part. He's been playing a big part for the CU program, kind of on the outside right now, but as of late. But now he's officially on staff as the Director of Leadership and Engagement. And if you follow this guy on Twitter, he's awesome. Or on Instagram. So y'all be sure to follow him. But you're probably wondering, okay, what does the Director of Leadership and Engagement do? Shall we just go to LinkedIn? All right, here we go. As the Director of Leadership and Engagement for the University of Colorado football program, I spearhead initiatives aimed at molding athletes into exceptional leaders and cohesive team players. My approach combines practical wisdom from over 2 decades in professional sports with the latest trends in sports psychology and leadership development. Here's what I focus on: crafting transformational workshops that enhance critical thinking and dynamic communication, fortifying the team's core through shared values of integrity, unity, and resilience, balancing mental agility with peak physical performance to elevate game day readiness, monitoring athletes for lifelong success, preparing them for impactful roles beyond the field, driving community initiatives that reflect our commitment to societal contributions, navigating challenges with strategies rooted in our team's ethos, utilizing analytics to refine our methods and amplify impact, championing an inclusive culture that values diversity as our collective strength, strategically nurturing personal and team branding to reflect our ethical standards. My role is more than a position. It's a mission to equip our athletes for triumph that transcend sports. Wonderfully written job description to George Hegamin. Do we call him Coach Hegamin? I'm not really sure, but you guys have heard, won a Super Bowl with Prime and the Cowboys right in the 90s, but he's done much more than that. Worked as a senior manager for the NFLPA, director of scholastic outreach. He's done a lot of IMG, from coaching the offensive line being a post-grad head coach, and then the last couple years, 3 years or so, the director of football at IMG Academy. I think that this is huge for recruiting. Absolutely massive. You've already seen somebody such as Caden Strayhorn, which I believe he is offensive lineman as well. He doesn't even have CU in his top 12, but he's going to be coming out for a visit this weekend. Isn't that wonderful? So I assume that that's going to be an unofficial visit. Really exciting stuff. And you take a look at Florida. I mean, let's just go through here. IMG, they got 12 guys ranked in their state rankings here on 24/7. We got Gavin Nix, a linebacker, okay? We got Landon Merritt, who's committed to Ohio State. Alex Graham, cornerback, that's crystal ball to Michigan. Let's see. We got Don Ologbodi, wide receiver, uncommitted. Okay. Donovan John, running back, uncommitted. Raiden Vines Bright, wide receiver, uncommitted. Caden Strayhorn, just talked about him. 6'3", 285. That's wonderful size. Interior offensive lineman. Y'all know we need more beef. We got Elijah Pratt, safety, committed to SMU right now. Then we got Major Preston, a cornerback. Oh, you got to be 6 feet. Sorry, man. Probably off of the list right now. And last couple, we got Dylan Worthen, an edge, uncommitted right now. And Adonis Moyes, wide receiver, uncommitted. I mean, those are guys that are ranked within the top 24/7 or 200 players for the state of Florida this year. So there's plenty more players that I'm sure that are going to have interest in. Y'all know we got a few walk-ons from IMG as well. And I think that he goes, George Hegamin, that is, he goes along with this culture that Coach Prime is building here. Devin Rispris, if you follow him on YouTube or check out his shows that he's done with Chico, I love him. He is an inspirational, charismatic leader, personality. George Hegamin on his LinkedIn, growth mindset enthusiast. If you guys check out his videos on Instagram, he is full of passion and dedication. And I really feel like he's found his life purpose working with young men. And I'm thrilled when I saw this news last night, was absolutely thrilled to see him here. And I, again, credit to Coach Prime, Rick George, the university for allowing us to create more positions for Coach Prime to bring some of these guys in and just continuing to fill the room with greatness. You know, I really do love that. And this is something that our team needs. You know, we splintered during the season last year, okay? There were guys on this team that weren't ready for the moment. We're bringing in leaders like Rispris, like Hegamin, not even on the coaching side. I mean, the coaching side's a whole other thing, but we're bringing in guys that are going to contribute to being pluses, adding positives for the culture here. I feel like these guys are really like-minded and aligned on what they want to accomplish here. And I think you're going to see it with the team. My hope and my expectation is that we see a much more unified and together team that will play for each other, that will fight for each other. Y'all remember, even though we lost to Utah, that was a game where I could end the season feeling really good about the team because I felt like the guys that were active, they really went and played for each other. And that was just something that I felt that we were missing at certain points in the season last year was that togetherness. And I think Coach Prime has continued to put people here that are going to continue to grow that. We got to stay together as a team. We got to have better player leadership this year, no doubt. And I think we're going to get that. So wonderful news, George Hegamin being here, director of leadership and engagement. Absolutely love it. Another guy officed on the fourth floor, of course, is Warren Sapp. Brian Howell coming out here just a few minutes ago saying, Colorado confirmed to me today that Hall of Famer Warren Sapp has been hired as a graduate assistant. not as a senior quality control analyst, as a GA. Sapp can actually work with the players on the field, which he couldn't do as an analyst. Okay, yeah, sure. That's wonderful. I think that a lot of this is kind of semantics or technicalities. At the end of the day, he's going to be a coach. He's going to be analyzing. He's going to be being Warren Sapp there on the field. Now, I've loved to see some of the video so far with his interacting with Coach Prime, and you can tell he's absolutely thrilled to be here, and I think he's going to make the most of it. What I can't wait for is I want to see Warren Sapp in coaching mode, really tearing these guys up, right? I want to see that. You can tell right now he's excited, joking around with Prime, all that. I want to see him lay into some of these guys because we need somebody like Warren Sapp, Damian Lewis, instilling that old school Miami Hurricanes type of swagger, dedication, and work ethic here. We need that. And mental fortitude, mental toughness, right? So, yeah, overall, really great stuff. There are a couple other pieces of news that I did want to hit on before I get to some of your comments. We also have Texas lineman out of Louisville, Texas. Well, right now he's crystal ball to University of Texas, actually. Michael Fasusi. He also doesn't have us in his top 8 or top 12, top 6, whatever it is, but he's actually going to be coming out to visit for the spring game, which is amazing. 6'4", 285, one of the top in the country, as you can see. So, I mean, when you got Hegamin, Loadholt, in Prime, I think we're going to start to be able to recruit the offensive line better now moving forward. And I think on the defensive line, we'll see what happens there with Coach Sal. Again, right now, I'm not really expecting him to be on staff. I think he's still recovering from surgery or whatever it is. But Damian Lewis seems to be kind of that replacement right now, and Warren Sapp working alongside him, working with the D line. So, yeah, overall, big wins for CU. And then lastly, I guess I'll get to this. We got what? Let me go to my bookmarks here. We got the Pac-12 network that's carrying this whole thing. The Aero Electronics Black and Gold Spring Game. It's going to be on on the Pac-12 network. I said on Twitter, I'd rather see the shit on Tubi, but it is what it is. Y'all going to have to download Fubo one last time. Tickets going to be $5 for students, 15 general admission for bowl seating, and 25 up at the East Club for those seats over there. So afterwards, we get a concert and a performance from Lil Wayne. So that should be pretty cool. All I want is good weather. Yeah, we got some beautiful like rain showers today, which has been great, but we need a day in which it's 70, sunny, late April. No snow this time around. It is what it is. I gotta say, I did think that this whole thing was a prank when I first saw that it was Pac-12 Network on April Fool's Day, but hey, it sometimes things just don't work out as planned, but hey, doesn't really matter to me. It was going to be there in person regardless, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. So, with that being said, I will get to some of your comments. Oh, and I did just want to say this. I also saw that Khalil Benson rolled out his Don't Touch 2 stuff today. I'm going to be a little cynical, man, but it's I'm just hoping that it's not ironic that this stuff is rolled out on April Fool's Day. Okay? And I got to say, you got to have big balls to be rolling out merch about protecting your quarterback before we even do it. So I'm hoping if I think the merch is valid as long as we keep Shador sacked under 20 times. That's what I'm going to say. Under 20 times. That's going to be a substantial improvement. Now, my expectation is around 30 sacks. So we'll have to see. How many sacks do y'all think we give up this year? We'll have to see. All right. Yep. Eric Morris just read that as well from Brian Howell. Coach Kev, good to see ya. Hope you're doing well, man. Giggity, that's right. We got a ton more linemen visiting, and that's great. You know, I did a video last week sometime on my own recruiting strategy for 2025, and my hope is that we just have a big focus on the trenches on both of the sides, both offense and defense, with the Lions with high school recruiting, because yes, you can go get guys out of the portal, and I think ideally these are guys, when you're getting guys out of the portal, they kind of can help complete a room, so to speak. But I think to ever have a truly elite offensive and defensive line, we need to be recruiting high-end blue chip talent out of high school and then developing them, creating that pipeline. I don't I don't think Coach Prime wants to do this long term. I don't want to have to plug in 4 new stars on the offensive line every year, or 3. No. I want to continue to develop. That needs to be the long-term plan. Now, some people don't seem to understand this. When you got Shador and Travis Hunter, and you're in your second year after a 4-win season, you cannot afford to lose. You cannot afford to take things slow. And that's why we saw another double down on the transfer portal this year, and I'm totally fine with this. Winning is the most important recruiting tool this year. We have to win. That's why you saw us bring in a ton of other veteran college football players this year. I'm not expecting that to be the plan year after year after year, though. And I'm not saying we disregard the portal. I'm just saying I think we're going to have bigger high school classes than 8 guys moving forward, right? And yes, defensive tackle needs to be one of the absolute needs and high-end priority targets for us during this spring portal period, no doubt. That's right, Scobuffs Daily. Hopefully we start to get some more IMG commits. Wouldn't that be wonderful? And signees. Coach Kev, you and I think alike. Great minds think alike, my friend. No more Cody Hawkins quarterbacks. If they're not taller than the volleyball coach, they're not getting in the game. Period. Yes. And if they're shorter than me, good luck. That's why I noticed with the corners, right? Coach Prime has a standard. You're not getting a scholarship to play corner here if you're under 6 feet. No. Only get tall and lengthy corners out here. Same needs to be true for the quarterbacks. That's why I like going after the guys that are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", baby. Isn't that wonderful? Now, I will say, Juju Lewis, what is he? Julian Lewis, 6'1"? I'll make an exception for 6'1" if you got elite arm talent. But I like my quarterbacks being able to see over the offensive line, no problem. And Coach Kev also says, salute to the chat. We're the hardcore fans. Hang out and chop it up. Absolutely. It's been a little bit since I did a live stream, so it feels great to be back. Big Reg 409. Is Damian Lewis on the team? I'm asking because I don't see him on none of the videos no more. That's very interesting. I hadn't noticed. Maybe he was just here for a little bit. I'm doing a quick Google search right now, okay? Well, he got named to the staff on March 2nd. Let's see what else we got here. Well, this article, I guess, is from March 2nd. From Buff Stampede, says Phil Wildholt was hired as the new offensive line coach in December, and Damian Lewis has also quietly joined the Buff staff this winter. I think he's still on staff, but I was looking through the Colorado staff roster, and I didn't see him on there, but there are also a handful of other guys that I didn't see on there that I know are on staff. So I think that just needs to be updated. Let me check his Wikipedia really quick. Wikipedia hasn't been updated, so not totally sure. That's something maybe I can ask around about. Good question, though. Okay, I'll get back to your comments. What do I say to those that want to bring up Sapp's allegations? They can bring them up, whatever. I know that they happened a while ago. I'm sure it's a zero tolerance policy with him, as it is any of these other players. And I just hope it works out. I know that there are some people sometimes that tune in that are weirdly obsessed with him and some of his legal troubles in the past, but here I'm just more focused on football, and hopefully he can coach these guys. And I think this can be a positive experience for him. And I just have good thoughts and intentions around this whole thing until I'm given a reason otherwise to have a different opinion. But I think things are looking up. People can talk, people can speculate, all that. There's going to be some people that aren't a fan of it or whatever. They have their right to hold that opinion. You're just not really going to see much of a fuss from me on any of these things. With Warren Sapp helping the D line, we will be anything but soft Rough Riders on the D line. Yes, Eric. We need a bunch of badassery on here, if that's even a technical term. Giggity, the spring's going to be lit. Yes, yes, yes. Can't wait to see this offense. I can't wait to see us in the spring game, hopefully tackling, playing physical, and it'll be nice to see this team in person. As I saw most of the home games last year and then the spring game the year prior, and I'm sure that I'm going to notice a substantial just size increase in the players on average. By the way, George Hegamin is 6'7", and he's still a tank. I'm guessing he's still like over 300 pounds, definitely like 350. Big guy. That's right, Phil. My guys know their assignments. Hey, I just want to say this too. Congratulations to Jack Bailey on his transfer to Northwestern. I remember me and Ra were chopping it up a few weeks ago, and I just said, find somebody like Bill O'Boyle. It's amazing what that guy's done for Jack Bailey. He takes him everywhere. That's why I assumed that he was going to end up at Northwestern, and here he is. He's going to get a great master's degree from Northwestern. Congratulations to Jack Bailey. Everyone could benefit having somebody in their corner like Bill O'Boyle. I'll tell you that. I thought that was so funny, man. Yeah, but all my guys know their assignments, Lold Holt. That's right. Jamal coming in. Do you think we could ever have a top 10 class if we don't have Texas, OSU, USC money, etc.? I guess short answer is yes, but let me explain myself really quick. Let's just go ahead and go to team rankings for the 2024 class, shall we? See how this goes. Let me share my screen. This is a great question, Jamal. Okay, so you see the teams here loaded with money. But I do think that we could sneak ourselves into like the top 10. Now, that will take a lot of winning. But with winning, if we win a lot this year, the more the money is going to flow into this thing. It's like as we continue to show more and more success, people are going to be more and more incentivized to give because they want to see this thing continuing to grow. And there's been a proof of concept, regardless of what happened at Jackson State, which I definitely will say, as opposed to that weirdo that I responded to on Friday, Wasserman, Coach was totally qualified to take over the worst job in Power 5 college football with what he did at Jackson State. No doubt. He didn't just get this job based on his celebrity. He won a ton at Jackson State. But I think people are wanting to see it now at the Power 4 level. And I think hey, if we come out and really surprise people, we win a bowl game, we win 8, 9, 10 games, I think that you're going to see a greater influx of cash. Now, um, I'm not going to say that we could do that, have a top 10 class as soon as this year. And that's kind of where I was wanting to explain myself is I think that it's going to take time to grow into something like that. But I do think like if we won 7 games this past year, I think the momentum and proof of concept is already there, right? And I could see us having a top 15 class, being around that 15 range if we had won more games, right? But and right now we're at 22, winning 4 games, and that's why I said like I feel like Coach Prime is still continuing to punch way above his weight in recruiting with what a normal 4-win team would be recruiting at. I think sometimes people can get frustrated with the results like we are in Alabama or Ohio State or something like that. We're just not there yet, but we're making substantial improvements. And I think, again, if we're able to get to 7, 8, 9, 10 wins, win a bowl game, right? We see guys, not only just Travis and Shador, but maybe we have another 1 or 2 fairly high draft picks next year. Wouldn't that be fantastic? That to see some guys really develop here and play their way into the NFL, I think that would go a long ways as well. And I think, yeah, in terms of like the Big 12, if we establish ourselves as one of those top teams, or if not the top team in the Big 12, I think that's really going to serve us well in getting better and better talent because we're the top team of a specific conference too. So I think people will like that. So, anyways, that's my little take on this situation. I'll go here for a few more minutes. Great question, though, for real. I think we can get there, but I'm not expecting a top 10 class right now for 2025. I am not. I think we're 22 right now this year for 24 and 23. I think we finished 21. So, hey, let's get into that top 20, baby. Wouldn't that be nice at the very least? That would be my wish. And we're going to have a big class like that. Losing your starting quarterback, losing Travis Hunter, losing another 28 guys on top of that. B-Dub is saying, actually, with the addition of Webster, Shador sacks will be less than 5, but with a high number of hurries for a catch to Webster or Hunter, opponents will look to prevent, contain. Maybe if you mean 50, I can agree with you. Less than 50. It will not be less than 5. It will not be less than 5. I can tell you that. This is not, I know that this is where I get myself in trouble and y'all start labeling me as a hater. I am just a realist. I am not here to just bullshit you guys and tell you that every player on this team is going to the NFL, as much as I would love that to happen. My hope is that this is an average offensive line. I think their ceiling right now is like maybe in the top third of the conference, but I don't see us having the best offensive line in this conference. No way. There are too many teams in this conference that have been building the right way. And my hope is that we just get average. Let's just get average this year. If we get average, this offense is going to feel like it's humming. We averaged, 28 points a game last year with the worst offensive line in Power 5 football. It's going to be great. Dave, if we just became bowl eligible and win 6 games, would you consider that a successful season? Yes, yes, yes. People do not understand how hard it is to win with a program that's been dead for 20 years, okay? Especially after just one season. People that want to be upset if this team only wins 6 games, you are taking away, you are discrediting the work that Coach Prime is doing. Do y'all want to take away the work that he's doing? I don't think so. But I think a lot of people think that we're just entitled to these wins because, and this is how I'm part of this way too, because obviously Colorado is going to be the team that I know the most about. But I think this is the off season. This is the point in the year where you just think that your team got better while everybody else just stayed stagnant. you know, this is still going to be a tough year, no doubt. And I think some people are going to say that anything less than 10 wins is a failure. And I got some terrible words for y'all, but I'm trying to keep this appropriate for now. It's the day after Easter. I'm not going to be too mean, but all I'm trying to say is that you can separate yourself. You guys are smarter to separate yourself and your expectations away from what is coach speak. Inside the locker room, you're absolutely preaching about going after a Big 12 title. Just like you would be pissed off if any NFL head coach was not talking about the playoffs, no matter if they had the first overall draft pick or the 16th or 18th, 20th draft pick overall, right? It's about expectations. Sometimes I notice that people say, "Oh, Coach Prime said this," or "There's a guy on staff that's talking championships." So I am going to then tell the players that that is what I'm expecting them to do. This is not a national championship winning roster right now. But, who knows? Who knows how this whole thing plays out this year? I will be putting some money on a national championship just for the hell of it. But I think that things are looking up as long as we show another 2-game, 3-game win improvement this year. Things that's continuing the trajectory. Now, if we go higher than that, that's when this thing can really start to gain steam, maybe to the level that some of us, including myself, were expecting initially. Yeah, I love that Warren Sapp's here. I think it's going to be a great thing. I think it's going to be a great thing for the players. You can tell he's excited about this. And I love that. Don't you like to be excited about what you're doing for a living? Not everybody has that opportunity. And I think that's something that Warren Sapp has right now. And I think he's definitely cherishing this moment. Best wishes to him. Yeah, no doubt. Will I go to the Lil Wayne concert after the spring game? We'll just have to see. We'll have to see. I know last time I was absolutely beat. But yeah, best wishes to Jack Bailey. He's going to be making more money than all of us very soon. What will it take for Colorado to crack the top 20 in rankings? I think a winning season. 6-7 wins. Okay. Get to a bowl game. Winning season. I guess that is 7 wins plus. But continue this momentum going in the right direction. Again, I think it's funny. I love all the new fans. I love all you guys coming in here. But sometimes I feel like I can tell really easily who watched this team win only one game just a couple years ago and who was just watching Jackson State. Because, yeah, like, again, we haven't won a game since the Arizona State game, which was a while back. And I mean, some of y'all are in my comments telling me, David, you just need to be pissed off and all this stuff. No, like, you guys got to cherish every win. It is hard to get wins here. And yeah, we got to cherish every single step along the way. Rome was not built in overnight. And we're going up against some really well-coached college football teams and programs this year. We got no favors done to us with this conference schedule. We play pretty much all the toughest opponents. Bama will have more than 6 wins, but I don't think that they will be a college football playoff team, even with the expansion. If Coach Prime got 20 high school players, he would be number 1 this year. Maybe. I guess it depends on what they're all rated, but no. We would not have the number 1 class if we just got a bunch of like 3 and 4-star guys, mainly probably 3-star guys. I don't think that's true. Prime says he has 10 4-star pros on 25s, maybe. What? If he's saying that, it's just coach speak. You guys got to stop taking everything that these guys say so literally. Like, curious to see how the center position shakes out. I thought Taylor Brown would have been a front runner for it, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, I saw a post that Shiloh posted on Instagram that had some of that aerial footage, and I couldn't tell. I think it might have been the first team taking those snaps, the first team offensive line, but Ryan Staub was taking the snap. So I'm not totally sure. But either way, it looked like Hank Zelinskis was either the first or second team center during those reps. Thought that was kind of interesting. Nah, again, it's easy for us to say we got the best players when we just don't put any time into learning our opponents. I swear, like some of y'all do nothing but set these kids up for disappointment, man. Like maybe we could just do the favor of allowing these kids to actually exceed some sort of level of expectation, right? This team is not full of future pros, but we do have a lot more pro prospects than we've had in a very long time here. But if we're talking about guys that are you would project to get second contracts and stuff like that. We still got some ways to go, but not every program has a handful of guys that they could say they see that way. Right now, I definitely like see us having some guys that could be that. But yeah, we'll see how this team comes together. Again, I feel to wrap this whole thing up, guys. I think with the additions of Coach Riss and George Hegamin and um, I think Warren Sapp is going to be really good for the culture as well. I'm hoping to see a more unified team, a team that plays for each other, a team where there isn't any division on, you know, kind of what we saw last year, right? Of I'm a holdover or I'm not, I'm a new guy, especially during this spring period because most of those guys quit and left before the spring period ended. And now you got guys that have been here that feel more comfortable to establish themselves as leaders. I think overall we're going to see a better team this year with how they play and hopefully with how they're prepared. One of the other things that I saw that I love that Hegman was talking about was he gave this little speech where he was saying everything impacts everything, and that's totally true. I think that we saw that our for better or for worse, we got distracted. We maybe thought a little bit too much of ourselves, or the team did, based on the attention that they got. And I think you saw them lose focus as the season went on. And really, it started with that Stanford game, and we never really recovered and found our focus and unity again after that. You might have even said it might have started when we got our first loss against Oregon or against Colorado State. Um, I just want to see a team that fights for each other, that is going to eye poke, that's going to fight, and that's going to throw in some cheap shots when that's needed. Uh, it's a fine line uh, of committing a penalty and getting baited in, right? Sticking up for your guy versus getting baited in. But I'm hoping that we'll see a much more disciplined team, but also, our guys will know the right moments when to have those things. Like again, as a Broncos fan, 2015, our defense was one of the best in my memory as an NFL fan, and we committed freaking personal fouls all the time. Akeem Talib freaking eye poking guys, Von Miller and the rest of the defensive linemen, late hits, all that. I mean, we were a rowdy defensive group, right? But we could afford those personal fouls and dirty hits and cheap shots and stuff like that because we would play lights out aside from that. So Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. I think all that to say, dude. And yeah, shout out to Big Leg Gerlach, just splitting the gooch, as Brandon Perna would say, kicking 62 yarders outside. Don't you love that? I want to see Gerlach kick some touchbacks at the spring game. That's going to be one of the things that I'm going to be looking for. Y'all know I'm a slut for special teams, baby. So that's going to be something that I have my eye on. I love the fact that we added another kicker. We didn't need to do it with the scholarship spot. We had one right in our backyard. We just say, come on, walk on, baby. David, did you see Smitty showing the new helmet communication device? Oh, no, I'll have to check that out. Really cool. Yes, let the college football games season begin. And the video game seems to be coming out in July. I think we got an official announcement from that today. Yeah, we needed to, again, this is not politically correct, but we need to put Blackburn in the hospital too on the stretcher. And none of our guys did that. Yeah, that's right. Gerlach, giggity. I love that. Man, man, you guys get so weird with each other when y'all have different opinions. Aurelius, y'all need to chill out. Where's our guy Peter here? I told him he was being a weirdo yesterday. 6 regular season wins would be a successful year, in my opinion. Yes. And I think there are a lot of outcomes for us to be very happy as fans. But those days are over, Dave. Well, I was saying that last year. Saying that last year. Y'all go watch my videos from this time last year. I'm like, guys, we're going to a bowl game. I said, we're definitely going to a bowl game. Shador and Travis are going to be winning a bunch of awards. That's just how it is. Season didn't play out as I was hoping, but I still got expectations. But I will say I'm just tempering them a little bit more this year. We'll see how that goes. Keeping around that same win total. I think where some of you guys got really big balls is that y'all said, 10 wins last year, and y'all are going undefeated, freaking college football playoff run, all this stuff. Like, y'all are saying we're going to be even better. But yeah, we'll have to see how the coaching is. And I guess I'll end on this. Coach Shermer, he's been somebody that I've been really critical of. And again, I started out by saying, who the hell would want to come play for Pat Shermer? Crusty old Pat Shermer. I think it's very clear now with a lot of the comments that unofficial and official visits guys have said, the Pat Shermer really has held weight with them in making their visits here. And that got me thinking about how, Pat Shermer's just a no nonsense, no bullshit kind of guy. And yes, there are things here that Coach Prime has needed to correct from himself, how he did certain things last year. But I think some people will take those little things that need to be improved or mistakes that he made during his first year here, which is totally reasonable and it happens everywhere. But they go on to say that this whole thing is like a clown show where there's like no direction. He doesn't know what he's doing, anything like that. I just think like a guy like Pat Shermer, who, is just a no nonsense, no bullshit kind of guy. He wouldn't have stayed here if that narrative was true. That's how I feel about it. Regardless of how you feel about him, like as an offensive mind or an offensive coordinator, he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that is okay just hanging around in bullshit, right? And that's just been something I've been thinking about over the last couple weeks, which I think is kind of funny. So, yeah, I've been backtracking hardcore on those Shermer takes. I'm like a Shermer fan now. It's always fun. If you've been with me for a while, you've been able to see, the waves that I ride emotionally with these guys. And I also had this other idea, giggity, which goes into this. I watch your and Raha's post game videos again. They're hilarious. There's nothing better than doing a post game with Rawhide, man. It was a lot of fun, but I am starting to think about this, and maybe y'all have your own your own 4 players, but I'm going to be coming out at some point this year, whether it's this spring or the summer or before the season starts, with my Newport 4. These are the 4 players that are supposed to keep me off the Newports this year. Who are your Newport 4s? I mean, that's what I want to know. Okay. Now, I can't have a Newport 4 without a special teams player on there, right? So maybe Gerlach is going to be my guy this year, helping me stay off the Newports. But here's the thing, this is extremely unhealthy. But, all these guys, these redshirt freshmen, these true freshmen, these walk-ons, these guys who are transferring in here, they're all responsible if I'm going to be nicotine free or not. This is all on them, and it has nothing to do with me. I'm putting my hope in the Newport 4. Who is that going to be? I don't know. Y'all let me know if there's anybody that I should consider, but who are those guys that are going to keep me off the cigarettes and keep me off the nicotine this year? Because I swear to God, man, every time we went to freaking punt that ball, kick off that ball, just something. Don't watch special teams if you have high blood pressure. Okay? That's right. No, this is the stuff that no other channel is going to give you. Their Newport 4. Now, maybe I can get Chico or Rawhide to come up with their Newport 4, but I'm not trying to put anybody in any situation where they're going to get in trouble. But I'm going to have my Newport 4. Okay? Eric, I saw this. Jordan Seaton's going to be in the game. That's great. Might he be part of my Newport 4? Boykins, I am. I'm going to be at the spring game. I'll buy my ticket whenever those go on sale. I think they go on sale tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah, Tremaine. Welcome to the club. I kept saying last year Colorado was 10-2. It was going to be 10-2 last year. I was ecstatic they had all these guys from Michigan, Alabama, Clemson, Arkansas guys. Little did I know those guys were backups. And yeah, just like, like when Antonio Alfano came out here years ago, it doesn't mean anything that you were a 5-star player a few years ago if you weren't getting on the field for Alabama in the years prior. So, I was right there with you again. I just thought that we'd have an average offensive line, and I think I expected, and I talked about this, about how Shador, an elite quarterback, can cover a multitude of sins for a football team. But I even think, even though he was fantastic, we don't win any of those 4 games without him. I think I even overestimated when I picked us to win 8 wins. Obviously I even overestimated his ability to overcome, honestly, a poor roster, outside of maybe a few other guys. But we're continuing to improve, and that's all that matters. I think we're in for a really good year. We're going to see a better product of football this year, and hopefully a lot more stuff that makes sense. What are your thoughts? Next year is Coach Prime's biggest year when he has none of his children on the team or anyone he's brought in from JSU. Yes, 2025. And I guess I'm not too worried about him leaving after this year. But there is a part in the back of my head, of course, that he's only coached his kids. So, but I do think, again, with the guys that are coming in here, on the staff, with the players, I just don't see that happening. And I don't see Coach Prime leaving either. Again, maybe Florida comes calling if we win 10 games this year or whatnot and makes him an offer that he can't refuse, right? But I think that you've seen a lot of the criticism over the last few weeks about how he spends his time recruiting and traveling and all this. Again, a lot of this is a lot of people don't understand how different, like there's a reason Coach Prime is here. It's because he's allowed to operate the way that he wants to and spend the time that he wants to. But he also, I think a lot of people forget that when he's doing stuff on Jimmy Fallon or going to the UFL, he's always decked in Colorado gear, and that is not by accident. This stuff is, and this as a CU alum, this is stuff that I wanted him doing was to be in front of the cameras, being on TV in Colorado gear, promoting the university as well, which is what he's done. I think that this, with what he does, it's definitely part of the job description. And I do think eventually you'll see him pull that ace in the hole, or whatever the expression is, the silver bullet, and do an in-home visit. And imagine how far that's going to go with somebody when he can say, "You're the only guy that I visited doing this whole thing." I think that will happen at some point. But again, the results are there. We're continuing to grow. I think a lot of people just compare Colorado and Coach Prime, and they just want things or hold them to expectations of like if he were to be at Auburn. And there's a reason why I have always said why this is a perfect match, because it is not Auburn. Okay. But Aurelius, this is fake news. Head coaches do go on home visits. Let's not just create a fake reality here. Things can be true, okay? Most head coaches do go on at least some amount of home visits throughout the year. They don't do home visits to all of their commits and all of their signees. That's totally true. But let's not then start to change the truth and just saying, you know what? No head coaches do that. No. Coach Prime is definitely doing stuff differently. Okay. And that's why it's got a lot of the old heads pissed off, or a lot of the hardcore college football old heads pissed off, because it's just against the grain. It's different. That's just how it is. And let's just leave it at that. We don't have to start lying and creating fake narratives. Like, I think that's a lot of people need to just approach this whole thing like it's a startup. And I think that's why you don't see me as worked up maybe as some other people on the internet with this whole thing. Because with a startup, you try new things, you're committed to unconventional strategies, and you learn and you grow and you adjust as time goes on. It's okay to make mistakes and try new things, and have the freedom to try new things, and have the freedom to fail. But this is not true. Head coaches and position coaches go on home visits. Tremaine Young saying, "I'm glad Charles Kelly is gone. Can't believe he coached at Alabama all those years and could not set up a defensive scheme to stop skinny slants and drag routes. Awful to the core." Yeah, I'm excited about Robert Livingston, and I'm excited about the unknown, because we don't really know how this whole thing's going to turn out. I know that in order to hold your job as long as he did in the NFL, you got to be a bright mind for sure. In a job where great coaches lose their jobs every 3 years, he kept his for over 10 in Cincinnati. So that's something to definitely pay attention to. But yeah, I think Charles Kelly was put in a tough situation because I think he's used to calling a certain defense, but didn't have the personnel for it. And I think he showed, I think one thing that Coach Prime was targeting this time is a coach that can be a little bit more flexible with their system. And I mean, you've heard him talk about that. Like, Livingston's needed to get to know the personnel a little bit more before he's fully figuring out kind of what he's going to call, regularly. And part of that's like, well, wouldn't it just be nice to just instill what you do right now? Yeah, I guess. I guess there's positives and negatives to that, right? All right, guys, I got to get out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. It's been awesome to do this live stream with y'all. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I need to hit up Chico because I've been traveling. Y'all know I've been out of town, and hopefully we can do Dog and Dave tomorrow. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So y'all be sure to smash that like. Again, a big shout out to everybody in the chat: Giggity, Zion, Aurelius, Tremaine Young, Eric Morse, man, there's a few others. B-Dub, Jamal, South Africa guy. What is your name? Eddie, Coach Cav, Sco Buffs Daily, Shirley. Y'all have a wonderful evening. I will be back tomorrow. And as always, y'all, Sco Buffs.